We just want to let you know that we were going to actually put the laptop on a picnic table and shoot our segment live outside, but it's -12 and windy because we're at the bay, and I'm already too cold to even think about sitting on this bench and doing a live video. So I think we're going to can the live video production and go home and insert the live part of the video in, and then you can just see us sitting in our nice warm house. It's right on the water. If Eric turns around with that camera,
We'll get there.
it'll be more interesting than seeing her.
Now I'm going into the sun, so it might not be very good, but let's try around here now.
This is a skidoo trail, right through the city.
Yep. That's some granaries where the big ship drop-offs the grain. Was used to be a very busy port here.
And there's the gazebo where a lot of wedding parties are held. And we have an annual swim right across this bay. It's mostly ice.
Through these trees, if we could see it, you can see clouds, and it's making snow. And it'll drop over in the community about 50 miles away from here. Okay. 3.
Brr, been from the cold. And like I said, we're going to finish the rest of that study for today, for day 13, I think, in the house. Just let me get my coat off and set up. And today we're going to be doing the January 13th segment. And the title is All Things Work Together for Good to Those Who Love the Lord. And that's from Romans 8 and 28. The Bible reading is going to be Genesis 31 and 32. And Matthew 9, 18 to 38. So I'm going to go on to our audio, and I hope you can hear this. Hang on, here we go.
Hello, thanks for joining us for Our Daily Bread. Your host is Les Landlord.
Philip Yancey has written today's meditation titled Contract Faith. Sometimes people who serve God live with an unstated contract faith. Because they give time and energy to work for God, they think they deserve special treatment in return. But not my friend Douglas. He has lived a Job-like existence in many ways, experiencing the failure of a ministry, his wife's death from cancer, and injuries from a drunk driver to himself and a child. Yet Douglas advises, don't confuse God with life. When troubles come and doubts arise, I often turn to Romans chapter 8, where Paul said, Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? In that one sentence, Paul summarized his ministry autobiography. He endured trials for the sake of the gospel, yet somehow he had the faith to believe that these things, surely not good in themselves, could be used by God to accomplish good. He had learned to see past the hardships to a loving God who will one day prevail. He wrote, I am persuaded that nothing shall be able to separate us from the love of God which is in Christ. A confidence like that can go a long way in helping overcome discouragement about how life hasn't worked out the way we thought it would.
There we go. That's our reading for today from the Daily Bread. So now we're going to turn to Genesis 31 and 32 and see how long we can read before Jacob fleeing. Jacob heard that Laban's sons were saying, Jacob has taken everything our father owns and has gained all this wealth from what belonged to our father. Jacob noticed that Laban's attitude towards him was not what it had been. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Go back to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent word to Rachel and Leah to come out of the fields where his flocks were, and he said to them, I see that your father's attitude towards me is not what it was before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that. I worked for your father with all my strength, yet your father has cheated me by changing my wages 10 times. However, God has not allowed him to harm me. If he said, the speckled ones will be your wages, then all the flocks gave birth to speckled young. And if he said, the streaked ones will be your wages, then all the flocks were streaked young. So God has taken away your father's livestock and has given them to me. In breeding season, I once had a dream in which I looked up and saw that the male goats mating with the flock were streaked, speckled, or spotted. The angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob. I answered, and here I am. And he said, look up and see that all the male goats mating with the flock are streaked, speckled, or spotted. For I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you, and I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, where you made a vow to me. Now leave this land at once and go back to your native land.